Alrighty, good evening. How's everybody doing today? Right, a much livelier crowd this time around. Alright, has anyone here ever milked a cow before? Yeah. It's either yes or no, no in between here. I touched them and I think I got something out of it, and then I got the crap kicked out of me. Yeah, I've been there too. Okay. All right, well, you're going to have a chance, those of you that never milked a cow, you need to get out more. Okay. So you're going to have an opportunity to see a couple cows get milked here. These two cows are residents of Centennial Farms year-round. Annabelle's a little Jersey cow up in the front. Cynthia's the Holstein cow next to me. I don't know where they came up with the names. That's what I was told they were. So. But if you look at the two cows, they are different breeds. We got a Jersey and a Holstein. She is very small for a Holstein. Even though she is a little bit younger, she is very small for a Holstein. Most Holstein cows weigh about 1,700 pounds. Okay, she's probably about 1,150 on a good day soaking wet. All right. The Jersey up front there, she is about 1,100 pounds, maybe just under. She's very average for the breed. Okay, Jerseys are much smaller cows. Holsteins, much larger cows, produce more milk than all the other cows that we have. Typical milk production from a Holstein cow, somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 pounds of raw milk per day over their 10-month lactation cycle. When you try to figure out how many gallons that is every day, if you look up here at these 10-gallon jugs, these are going to be close to some of what you're getting out of a Holstein cow on a daily basis, on average over 10 months. All right, so about 9.5 gallons. All right, compared to a Jersey, which is 60 pounds, and then they're in that neighborhood, 60 pounds a day. So we divide 60 by 8.4, and that gives you what, 7.5 gallons, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now the big difference between the two, other than volume, is the milk fat content that we find in our milk. Jerseys are much higher milk fat, the highest milk fat of all the dairy cattle that we have. They are also very high in protein as well, versus the Holstein, which is very low in milk fat content. So Holstein's 3.5 to 3.8%. Our Jerseys are 4.5 to 5%. Now the big advantage of having a cow that produces more milk fat is that when you go to make dairy products like yogurt, butter, cheese, ice cream, all that fun stuff, you need the butter fat to make those dairy products. So when you have more milk fat in your milk, then you can make more product out of less overall product of milk. So it comes in very handy. If you're just producing milk and selling for fluid milk, volume's the way to go. We don't have to worry much about milk fat. So it depends on what you're going to be selling your milk for. Is going to help you determine what type of cows you want to have in your dairy. Alright, so we'll kind of hose the cows off to cool them down a little bit, but we also want to get some of the major dirt off of them. You know, watch them kind of hose the cow's mammary system off there, so we make sure her udder and her teats are nice and clean. We don't want to go attach our milking equipment to a dirty cow. Alright, if we do that, then we've introduced anything that's on that cow's mammary system that comes in contact with the milking equipment has now been introduced into our storage tank at the dairy. We've now contaminated every bit of milk in our tank, and we have to dump it. So it's very important that we make sure when we get these cows in, they get them prepped and clean. Okay? All the milk that is produced here at Centennial Farms goes towards animal use. We don't produce anything for human consumption. We don't have the permits, nor do we have the storage facilities, so we use it all for animals. We have to bottle feed the calves every day, twice a day. So there's a good 6 gallons of milk between those two. And we also have a good backup supply in case we need to use it for whatever reason. Well, let's say the sow decides she doesn't want to feed those piglets anymore. Now we've got something to feed those piglets. Same thing, if we got goats or sheep and they can't feed their babies or whatever, we've got an issue where we got something going on, we can always use the cow's milk for that as well. A lot of research has been done that shows when you get these animals when they're young off to a good start, they do a lot better down the road. They have a stronger immune system, they grow faster, they are much they're less prone to illnesses as they get older as well. So it's very important that we get them off to a good start. Alright, so when we're at the dairy, we're going to send our milk to a storage tank, and that's where our milk will set until our truck shows up to haul the milk to the creamery. But we do have to worry about keeping the milk fresh as well as keeping the milk safe. Coming out of the cow, milk is 100 degrees. It's just under body temperature, which is 101.5 degrees. Alright, so we have to keep our milk fresh. So you can imagine on a day like today, we go out to San Jacinto to some dairy out there where it's 100 degrees, and we got 1,000 cows that we're milking, or putting all that milk into a storage tank, and we don't refrigerate it. You can imagine how fast it's going to go bad. Alright, so that's why we refrigerate our milk in our storage tanks. It helps keep our milk fresh, the same way you keep milk safe and fresh at home. Keep it in the fridge. Alright, now so later on in the day we're going to have a truck show up to our dairy, and they're going to pull up, they're going to back up to our storage tank, and they're going to hook up a hose. As they do that, they're going to take a sample of milk out of our tank. They're going to test it for quality, they're also going to test it for safety. If it is deemed okay and they say, yeah, we can use that milk, they're going to pump it from the storage tank into the truck, and that way they can haul our milk to the creamery. If it doesn't pass the test, which there's no reason it shouldn't, but if for some out of the ordinary strange reason it doesn't, we just open a valve on the storage tank and all the milk goes down the drain. Obviously we're not going to get paid for our milk because we didn't send it anywhere to sell it. Alright, so once the milk is okay, then they put it in the truck, they haul the milk to the creamery. Once it arrives at the creamery, it's going to be tested a second time for quality and safety. Alright, dairy products are one of the most highly regulated and tested for all the dairy products that we have because of how perishable it is. Typically a minimum of 8 times milk is tested for quality and safety from the time it leaves the dairy to the time it leaves the creamery in its end product, just as a precautionary measure. Alright, so once the milk passes the quality and safety test at the creamery, it will then be pumped into the creamery and they can process that milk for whatever they're going to do with it. If it does not pass the test at the creamery, then they hook up a hose to the back of the tanker truck and they pump every bit of milk in that truck down a drain. The dairy does not get paid for the milk. They also have to pay the trucking company that hauled the milk. It's a double whammy. You got to be very careful when we do that. Again, we got to be able to make the money at the dairy and pay our bills. So it becomes very tough. We can't get paid for our milk. Right? The margins are very slim to a dairy farmer. When you go to the grocery store, I'm sure some of you have been to the store this week and bought a gallon of milk. You saw milk's $4 or $5 a gallon. Everybody wants to shake their finger and cuss at the dairy farmer. The dairy farmer has nothing to do with that. Okay, that's all processor and grocery store markup. Dairy farmers get what we call market or farm direct pricing. So every month here in California, the dairy farmer gets a letter from the California Department of Food and Agriculture. It says, all right, you're a dairy farmer, you're going to sell your milk, and depending on who you sell it to and what you're selling it for, here are the prices for each type of milk. So if you're selling Class 3 fluid milk, that's what your letter is going to say. You're selling Class 3 fluid milk, your milk's going to CDI, this is how much they're going to pay you for. Right now it's about $13.50 for every 100 pounds of raw milk that they ship. Okay, 100 pounds of milk is about 13 gallons. Okay, so if you do the math, we're making about $1.50 a gallon, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, if we look at all the math that goes into this, it costs us $9.50 every day to feed the cows that are producing milk. Okay, so our profit just got a lot smaller. Now we're looking at about $1.50 to $2 profit per cow. That is not counting any cows that do not go into the hospital pen. Okay, any cow that goes to the hospital pen still has to be milked. However, all the milk that we get from a cow in the hospital pen has to be dumped down a drain. We cannot use that milk for human consumption because of any antibiotic contamination. So we have to pump that down a drain. So now a cow in the hospital pen goes from making you $2 a day to costing you $9.50 plus the antibiotics that you're using on her. So she's costing you about roughly $10 a day rather than making any money for you. So again, very beneficial that we keep those cows healthy and keep them out of the hospital pen. All right, once we disconnect the milking cloth from the cow, she's done milking. Like you see these two cows, you see the red stuff he sprays on their teats. That will protect the cow's mammary system from bacteria as she goes back out into the corrals at the dairy. If we don't spray those, her teat canals remain open for about 15 to 20 minutes. As her teat canals are closing back down and the milk that is inside will dry and form a natural plug. If we don't protect that cow's mammary system, we now have bacteria entering her mammary system, which will then make her susceptible to mastitis. Mastitis is one of the top 3 health issues we deal with on a dairy. It's very painful for a cow. It's also very expensive for a dairy to treat a cow with mastitis. It costs anywhere between $600 and $800 for every one cow that has mastitis. So again, very, very big economical impact that it will have on the dairy, so we want to avoid it as much as possible. Once the cows leave the milking parlor, they're going to go through a foot bath. These cows are large. We want to protect their feet. Their feet and legs are what gets them back and forth to the milking parlor every day. So we want to make sure all that's protected. So we're going to run them through a foot bath and disinfect their feet. As they leave the foot bath, then they're going to go through a soaker and they're going to drench the cow with water so she can stay cool. Again, we talked about it earlier. Cooler cows are more comfortable cows, which eat more. When a cow eats more, she produces more milk. She also stays more active even in the warmer parts of the day. So we can catch this cow in heat in order to get her bred. They are mammals. So in order to produce milk, they must give birth to a calf every year. All right, so we have to breed these cows every year. In order to breed these cows, we have to catch them in heat. In order to do that, they have to be active. A cow that is not active will not get bred. It doesn't matter if we're doing it artificially or if we're doing it with the bull. If she is not up and moving, a bull will not find her in heat either. So very important that we keep these cows cool and comfortable. Okay, so we're all done. We're going to release the cows out. If you haven't had a chance to go visit the cows, feel free to do so. We've got these cows plus a few other cows that actually came from Scott Brothers Dairy, which is out in San Jacinto. There is Scott Brothers Dairy chocolate milk for sale behind you there if you like chocolate milk. As soon as they get the cows put away, they'll open up the gates and everybody can go out and visit it. And then there is, let me see which one is which here. This is, no. These are the newer milk. Which ones? Oh, he's got it down here. Okay, so he's going to put a bucket of milk up here. These are from the cows just right now. What we have up here is from 4:30, and then that's from 2:30, so you can see the difference in the separation and the skin that's on top. And then, if you got any questions, come on down and ask me. I'll answer them the best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll make something up. You won't know the difference. We appreciate you coming by. Enjoy the rest of your evening at the fair.